What does it mean to truly understand life? Most people stumble through it, never daring to face its darkest truths. But Dostoyevsky, he not only understood life, he exposed the rawest secrets of the human soul. But here's the real question. Are you ready to face them? The year is 1821. Moscow. A child is born. Fyodor Mikhailovich Dostoyevsky. He has no idea that one day he'll reshape literature forever. He grew up in a middle-class family, fascinated by philosophy and stories. Oddly enough, his journey didn't begin with words, it began with numbers and steel. He studied military engineering in St. Petersburg, but as with so many restless geniuses, his true passion couldn't be caged. In 1846, he released his first novel, Poor Folk. Overnight, he became a sensation. Critics loved him, readers adored him. It seemed like his destiny was unfolding, but life had other plans. In 1849, he was arrested for joining a revolutionary group that dared to question the Tsar. His punishment: death. Picture this. You're standing in the freezing square, tied to a post, seconds away from execution. The air thick with silence. The signal is about to be given. Your heart pounding with the knowledge that you will never take another breath. And then at the very last moment, your sentence is overturned. Instead of death, Dostoyevsky was sent to 4 brutal years of hard labor in Siberia, followed by 6 more years of military service. That experience broke him. And yet, it also remade him. When he returned, he was no longer the same man. His soul had been tempered in fire. He now carried a darker, sharper vision of life, one obsessed with suffering, guilt, redemption, freedom, and faith. And that was only the beginning. By 1859, Dostoyevsky was finally free, and it was then that his true genius erupted. He began writing the masterpieces that would inspire writers and thinkers for generations. Kafka, Nietzsche, Freud, Camus, Sartre. All of them drank from Dostoyevsky's well of ideas. He died at 59 in 1881 from a lung hemorrhage. But his words never died. His stories captured the torment, contradictions, and beauty of being human like no one else before. Let's dive into one of his most shocking creations. Notes from Underground, 1864. This book isn't a gentle read, it's a punch to the gut. It's narrated by a man with no name who calls himself sick, spiteful, and unpleasant. He lives in isolation not only from society, but from himself. His notes are divided into 2 parts. In the first, he spills out his thoughts on human nature, science, morality, and freedom. In the second, he recalls humiliations from his youth, moments of rejection and scorn that shaped how he saw the world. Through this voice, Dostoyevsky forces us to confront an unsettling question. Are we truly free, or are we prisoners of our own contradictions? The narrator is bitter cruel one moment, compassionate the next. He embodies the complexity of human behavior, and behind all the chaos lies one unforgettable idea. To live despite everything is what truly matters. As Dostoyevsky himself wrote, to live no matter how is better than not to live at all. But here's the twist. This underground man rejects the comforting belief that humans are rational beings seeking happiness. Instead, he shows us a truth we'd rather not face. We are impulsive, self-sabotaging, and often willing to destroy our own peace just to prove we are free. Would you dare to live that way? To choose freedom, even if it costs you peace of mind? For Dostoyevsky, this was the paradox of existence. Our hunger for autonomy is so strong that we'll act against logic, against harmony, even against our own happiness. And that was just the surface of his philosophy. This vision shattered the optimism of his era. The 19th century worshipped progress, science, and reason. Society believed that with enough knowledge, humanity could build a flawless future. But Dostoyevsky's underground narrator felt like a stranger in this new world. To him, rebellion was the only way to protect something essential, an authentic life. Even if that meant retreating into a metaphorical underground away from the bright lights of civilization. Yet, freedom, that beautiful ideal, came with its own traps. The underground man couldn't find meaning. He couldn't live fully. He couldn't connect with others or even himself. Dostoyevsky masterfully turns this struggle into a haunting reflection on modern existence. In today's world, we too live without fixed values, without absolute limits. There is no clear God, no single truth to guide us. Freedom is both a gift and an unbearable burden. So what do we do? Each of us must carve our own meaning. Each of us must build our morality, seek happiness, and accept the fragility and contradictions that come with it. Dostoyevsky doesn't hand us easy answers. Instead, he invites us to wrestle with the questions. He shows that meaning isn't something handed down from above. It's something built day by day in our choices, in our relationships. And sometimes that meaning comes from transcending our own ego, whether through spirituality, faith, or a deeper connection to others. The light, he suggests, isn't found in the underground. It's in the surface, in the lives we live, and the bonds we create. This theme shines again in one of his greatest masterpieces, Crime and Punishment. Here we meet Raskolnikov, a former student who commits a murder to test a theory. He believes that extraordinary people like Napoleon have the right to break laws if it serves a greater purpose. He tells himself his crime is justified, even noble. But reality has other plans. The weight of guilt crushes him. His supposed freedom becomes a prison, and his conscience, more ruthless than any judge, torments him without mercy. But this was only the beginning of his descent. Raskolnikov's story is a battle between theory and reality. On paper, his idea sounds brilliant. Some people are above the law. They can bend morality for the sake of greatness. But living it, that's another story. He quickly learns that his theory collapses under the crushing weight of human conscience. No matter how much he tries to justify his act, he cannot escape the voice inside his head, the judgment of his own soul. Dostoyevsky heightens the tension through Detective Porfiry Petrovich. Porfiry doesn't accuse Raskolnikov directly. Instead, he needles him, questions him, plants seeds of doubt until the young man unravels. Here we see Dostoyevsky's true genius. Crime itself isn't the punishment. Guilt is. And guilt is a harsher jailer than any Siberian prison. Yet amid the darkness, there is a light. Her name is Sonia. She's poor, humble, surrounded by misery. Yet she embodies faith, compassion, and unconditional love. Sonia sees through Raskolnikov's pride. She loves him when he believes himself unlovable. And it is she who finally leads him toward confession, redemption, and ultimately, rebirth. When he's exiled to Siberia, Sonia follows him. She stays not because she must, but because she chooses to. Her love becomes his bridge back to humanity. Through Sonia, Dostoyevsky gives us one of his most powerful lessons. True freedom isn't about breaking rules or seizing power. It's about taking responsibility, about facing our mistakes, about transforming pain into redemption. Crime and Punishment is not just a novel, it's a mirror. A reminder that the battle between good and evil isn't fought in the streets. It's fought inside us in the quiet chambers of our conscience. But Dostoyevsky wasn't finished. His final masterpiece would go even deeper into family faith and the chaos of the human soul. That story was The Brothers Karamazov. The Brothers Karamazov is more than just a story. It's a storm of ideas, a monumental exploration of morality, faith, and human nature. Published in 1880, it centers on one broken family. At the head is Fyodor Pavlovich, the corrupt, hedonistic father. Around him swirl his 4 sons, each embodying a different side of the human soul. Dmitri, the eldest, is pure passion. Impulsive, explosive, torn between generosity and violence. He craves redemption, but finds it only through love and sacrifice. Ivan is the thinker. Rational, skeptical, relentless in his search for truth. He rejects God, insisting that if God does not exist, then everything is permitted. Yet his ideas carry a hidden weight. Though he doesn't commit murder himself, his philosophy helps make it possible. In this way, he becomes complicit, condemned by the very logic he defends. Alyosha, the youngest, is the heart of the story. gentle, compassionate, faithful. He believes in love as the only path to salvation. He tries to heal the wounds of his family, to prevent disaster, but even his goodness cannot hold back the chaos. And then there is Smerdyakov, the illegitimate son. Cold, manipulative, driven by envy. It is he who murders their father without remorse for nothing but spite and power. But Dostoyevsky refuses to give us easy answers. There is no clear hero, no simple villain. Instead, he shows how good and evil are never separate. They live intertwined inside each of us. The message is clear. What defines us isn't which side we're on, but how we face the conflicts within us and the responsibilities they demand. And here lies the brilliance of Dostoyevsky. His stories aren't just about characters. They're about you, about me, about anyone who has ever felt torn between reason and desire, faith and doubt, pride and humility. But there's still one more lesson he left us, perhaps the most personal of all. December 22nd, 1849. A freezing morning in St. Petersburg. Dostoyevsky is led with other prisoners to the parade ground of the Semyonovsky regiment. They're sentenced death by firing squad. They are lined up in groups of 3. Crosses are handed to them. White garments of execution are prepared. The first 3 are tied to the posts. Dostoyevsky waits in the second row. He has less than 1 minute to live. He looks around. He embraces his companions. His thoughts turn to his brother, and then the drumbeat halts. A decree is read. Their lives are spared. Instead of death, they are sent to Siberia. That night, Dostoyevsky wrote to his brother. His words are like fire, pulsing with the raw intensity of a man reborn. Life is a gift. Life is happiness. No matter where you are, life is in us, not outside of us. To live is enough. Wherever life exists, there is beauty. Imagine being 1 breath away from death, and then suddenly given your life back. How would you see the world after that? Would you waste another moment, or would you, like Dostoyevsky, treat every instant as eternity? This was his final message to us. Life is not found in comfort or certainty. It is found in courage, in the willingness to keep moving forward, even in the face of suffering, doubt, and fear. And maybe that's why his words still matter today. Dostoyevsky reminds us that even in our darkest hours, life itself is the greatest gift, that freedom is not a guarantee of happiness, but an invitation to responsibility. That meaning is not given, but built choice by choice, moment by moment. So here's my question to you. How will you choose to live? If Dostoyevsky, moments from execution, could see life as precious, what excuse do we have not to take a second and reflect on that? And if his words struck something inside you, share your thoughts in the comments. I'd love to know what they awakened in you. And remember, we're not just watching these stories. We're living them together. Until the next one.